Jane Eyre is a famous novel by Charlotte Bronte. It tells the story of a young girl named Jane Eyre. Jane is an orphan. She faces many challenges in her life. Through it all, she remains strong and independent. This story explores themes of love, hardship, and finding your place in the world. Jane's story is both timeless and captivating. It shows the importance of staying true to yourself. It also highlights the power of love and forgiveness. Let's delve into Jane's world, chapter by chapter. We will follow her on this incredible journey of self-discovery. The story begins at Gateshead Hall. Jane lives there with her aunt, Mrs. Reed, and her cousins. Jane is treated very poorly by them. They are cruel and unkind to her. John Reed, her cousin, bullies her constantly. One day John hits Jane and she fights back. Jane is punished and locked in a room. This experience deeply affects Jane. It makes her feel isolated and unloved. She longs for freedom and kindness. A kind apothecary visits Jane. He speaks to her with compassion. He suggests sending her away to school. This idea brings a glimmer of hope to Jane's life. It's a chance for her to escape the misery of Gateshead. Jane is sent to Lowwood Institution, a charity school for girls. Conditions at Lowwood are harsh and unforgiving. The girls suffer from cold, hunger, and a lack of proper care. Many girls fall ill and some even die. Despite the hardships, Jane finds solace in friendship. She befriends Helen Burns, a kind and intelligent girl. Helen teaches Jane about forgiveness and endurance. Sadly, Helen dies of consumption, leaving Jane heartbroken. Miss Temple, a kind teacher, brings some positivity to Lowwood. She improves the conditions and shows genuine care for the girls. Jane excels in her studies. She spends 8 years at Lowwood, 6 as a student and 2 as a teacher. After Lowwood, Jane seeks a change. She becomes a governess at Thornfield Hall. She is to care for a young girl named Adele Varens. Adele is the ward of Mr. Rochester, the master of Thornfield. Thornfield is a mysterious place. There are strange noises and occurrences. Jane learns that Mr. Rochester is often away on business. He is a brooding and Byronic figure, full of mystery. Jane enjoys her time with Adele. She finds solace in her work and the quiet routine of Thornfield. However, she can't shake off the feeling that something is amiss in the grand house. Section 5, Chapters 16 to 21. The Master returns. Love and mystery. Mr. Rochester returns to Thornfield, bringing with him a sense of excitement and unease. He is often in the company of the beautiful but haughty Blanche Ingram. Jane observes them with a growing sense of jealousy. Mr. Rochester and Jane spend more time together. They engage in intellectual conversations. A connection develops between them, despite their differences in age and social standing. One night, Jane saves Mr. Rochester from a fire in his room. This event deepens their bond. Jane realizes she has fallen in love with her enigmatic employer, but their difference in social status makes it a forbidden attraction. Section 6, Chapters 22 to 27, The Shadow of the Past, Secrets Unveiled. A series of strange events unfold at Thornfield. A guest is attacked. Mr. Mason, a visitor from Jamaica, arrives unexpectedly, adding to the tension. Jane feels increasingly uneasy. The truth about Mr. Rochester is revealed on the day of his wedding to Blanche. It turns out he is already married to a woman who is mentally ill. She is the source of the strange noises and events at Thornfield. Jane is devastated. She feels betrayed and heartbroken by Mr. Rochester's secret. Despite her feelings for him, she decides to leave Thornfield, unable to compromise her own morals and sense of self-worth. Section 7, Chapters 28 to 32, Flight and Desolation, Wandering Alone. Jane flees Thornfield with nothing but a small bundle of possessions. She is heartbroken and alone, wandering aimlessly across the moors. She endures hunger, cold, and despair. Jane eventually collapses from exhaustion. She is found by St. John Rivers, a kind clergyman. He takes her in and nurses her back to health. She gives herself a new name, Jane Elliot, to conceal her identity. St. John and his sisters, Diana and Mary, are kind to Jane. They offer her shelter, food, and companionship. Jane finds solace in their company, but she still carries the pain of her past. Section 8, Chapters 33 to 36, Reunion and Revelation, A Twist of Fate. Jane learns that St. John has discovered her true identity. He also reveals that he is her cousin and that they have inherited a fortune from their deceased uncle, John Eyre. St. John asks Jane to marry him and accompany him to India as a missionary. Jane respects St. John, but she does not love him. She realizes that she still loves Mr. Rochester. One night, Jane hears Mr. Rochester's voice calling her name. She believes it is a sign. She decides to return to Thornfield, hoping to find Mr. Rochester and discover what has become of him. Section 9, Chapters 37 to 38, A Happy Ending. Love Conquers All. Jane returns to Thornfield to find it burned and ruined. She learns that Mr. Rochester's wife, in a fit of madness, set fire to the house and died in the blaze. Mr. Rochester tried to save his wife but lost his eyesight and one hand in the process. Jane finds him at Ferndean, a smaller, more humble estate. He is filled with remorse and despair. Jane reveals herself to Mr. Rochester. They are overjoyed to be reunited. Despite his disabilities, Jane still loves him. They marry, and Jane finally finds the love, happiness, and acceptance that she has longed for her entire life. Jane Eyre's story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It highlights the importance of staying true to oneself, even in the face of adversity. The novel explores themes of love, loss, forgiveness, and the search for identity.